Hello, John again. Today I'd like to talk about the, 10 billion pound gorilla in the galaxy of Star Wars Awakens. Saw it opening weekend, didn't think I'd do that on a thing again. But I did, because it was Star Wars, and that's what you do when you're someone like me. You see stuff like Star Wars on the opening weekend. Now, I might get a little tangential. It's me. It's what I do. There's that part in Harry Potter. I know, just bear with me. That part in Harry Potter in Order of the Phoenix where Hermione's describing how Cho is kind of feeling about liking Harry, and Harry and Ron are like, and Hermione mentions, well, just because you have the emotional range of a teaspoon, that's kind of me. I usually don't get excited for stuff until the very, very last minute possible. When I used to do a lot of theater, for example, it was not until, costume, makeup, everything, people are sitting down and we're, right about to go on stage that there was any really sort of to go on anyway. So I kind of felt that about Force Awakens. Prequels were kind of traumatic, for lack of a better term. And I understand, my fiance has said, it's Disney. They spent over $40 billion to get the rights for this, etc. They're not going to screw it up. It's Disney. They do things really well. So, hold on, I got a cat infestation here. And a pug. Say hi to Shinigami. Hello, I'm Shinigami the pug. I'm super cute. So when I understood that and I appreciated that, prequel's still kind of traumatic. And then I found out they weren't doing anything about the books. And I had read, probably 20, 25 of the Expanded Universe books, ton of the comics and everything like that. So it was sort of like, you have this huge depth of things to pull from. A lot of it's pretty darn good. Timothy's on. And you're not using it? And then I have to admit, this cat, oh my goodness. I have to admit, when I saw there was a big thing about the old cast, and Han was being really, really touted out there as the main thing you're seeing. Honestly, the only part of the trailer that really kind of went, for me, was you saw the Falcon and then Han talking. I kind of got a bad feeling about that. I didn't like where that was going. It was like, oh, this isn't going to turn out well, is it? I also had, when I saw the whole thing with the villain, kind of Vader-ish, big fan of Vader, okay, dumbest lightsaber in the world. Sorry, used it to some effectiveness in the movie, still freaking stupid. In real life, you'd cut your own damn hand off. Otherwise, you fighting it with it on a cross like this, really kind of difficult. They made it kind of work. And I think part of it was helpful that Kylo Ren was really sort of not fully in control of himself, which I thought was really kind of interesting. Was it Supreme Leader Snoke? I think they said. I keep calling him Snooky. Really just Gollum mixed with Voldemort kind of thing. Obviously, he really wasn't that great of a teacher, but good enough to draw him away from Luke and do all the stuff. So there are spoilers with this, and if you haven't seen it and don't want to be spoiled, just wait till later to watch it. But you should watch this. Anyway, so overall, I gotta say, good movie. Called it about Han, beloved Han Solo, perishing. Called it about Han and Leia being Kylo Ren's parrots. Kind of called that earlier too. But that's kind of what I do. Apparently I just ruin everything by figuring stuff out beforehand. I thought part of that was maybe a little bit of a nod to the books, having Han and Leia's son go dark because that was Jason Solo from the books. But then calling him Ben kind of went to the books too, because Luke and Mara's son was Ben, but this is Han and Luke. Okay. But overall, really good. I did like it. I don't think I'm sort of the, oh, hail the Force Awakens glow cloud sort of thing like a lot of people are. I'm not going to disparage it. Probably going to get it on Blu-ray. Watch it several, maybe 1,000 more times. So that was good. Of course, and all the technical stuff about it, how everything looked, and the computer, and even I like the fact there's a lot of practical effects. Practical effects are highly underused in this day and age. I like the practical effects, all the digital stuff. Of course, all that stuff looked great. It was a well put together film. I liked it was funny. I mean, the other ones, the good ones, the original trilogy, was funny, but this was actually like funny. There was some really funny stuff in there. I liked how there was actual diversity in the sort of new set of main cast. I liked Poe more than I thought I would. He was actually pretty competent. He wasn't just some sort of cocky X-wing jockey. He was actually competent and had a fiber to him. I really liked Finn. I thought I would, but I really liked him anyway. I thought it was nice that he was more of a complete individual, as opposed to just sort of, well, this is wrong, I'm going to do everything right because I'm a good person and that's how people do, sort of thing. He was actually a complete person. He was actually, you know what, no, I'm going to freaking run. I have a chance to get out. I'm going to get out. Oh, this is the kind of right thing to do. I'm going to go do that too. I don't have a chance, but I'm still going to step up. I mean, he was pretty much a rounded person, and I got to say, again, apart from the original stuff, Rey was my favorite. I freaking loved her. And yes, it might be a little easy if she was Kylo Ren's or Ben Solo's, if you will, sister. It might also be easy if she was his cousin, as in Luke's daughter. But Luke and all those guys do have a precedence. Shinny wants to say hello again. They do have a precedence of separating young children who are force sensitive, even though probably keeping them together or keeping everything together and training them the way you want from the beginning, you might have a bad egg. You got Ben Solo, there was that outside probably corrupting influence like it was with Anakin, or instead of keeping everything in here, we're going to abandon you to fend for yourself on a desert planet. There is precedence for this, so as easy as it might be for Rey to be either Luke's daughter or Han and Leia's daughter, it still is a possibility, as far as I'm concerned. But she was amazing. Another, complete person, pretty much a badass in all ways, but doesn't necessarily have to be a badass as in she acts like a boy. You can have a woman be a badass and still be a woman. I thought it would have been cool to see Gwendolyn Christie in the armor without the helmet. There's always that sort of thing. Is it really them? I know it was really her, but it kind of would have been cool to see her without that too, because I like her a lot. I still just think BB-8 is a marketing ploy. They wanted to just have something cute and R2-ish, but new, to kind of slap on apparently even oranges, from what I understand. Oranges? Really? But they're just slapping stuff on everything. It's cute, it's a toy, you got a Happy Meal with it, la. Marketing. So that was kind of shaky. I didn't dislike him. He wasn't necessarily strictly R2, but still a little, come on. It did really seem like not just a remake, but very heavily a remake of Star Wars. Now, you might say, which one? They're all Star Wars. No, they're not. The original Star Wars, first movie, the one that they weren't sure was going to go any further than just that movie, was called Star Wars. Then there was, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and they might have still Star Wars tag, but those are the other titles too. It is not A New Hope. That was put together later by George Lucas and his crazy, I'm going to change everything because of garbage. New Hope is something that's slapped on later. No. Episode 4 will work too. Star Wars is what we're going by with that. So the original Star Wars It was pretty much a remake of that, and that was one of the reasons I felt as I was watching the movie it was pretty much confirming Han was going to die, because that was the sort of old guard, the one who had sort of failed the Vaderish evil guy character and was going to confront him with that. So there was a lot of things like that that just seemed like, oh, well, we're just kind of remaking stuff. There was the raid, trying to get information to the Resistance or Rebels. We give the information to the droid who goes through the desert, ends up finding these people who are Force sensitive, super strong in it, kind of learning their way, get good really fast somehow. So a lot of parallels, a lot of remakey stuff with that. Still overall good. Looking forward, I think my main detraction, I might have already said this on something else, but I'm going to say it for this, is that it's very set up. I don't know if it's too fair to judge this movie without the context of the rest of this trilogy, or at the very least the movie that comes after it, because it is very much set up. There is, again, in Star Wars there was, hey, we didn't know if we're going to do this anymore, so it still kind of closed things off, but left it a little open. There was a lot open with this. And I have to admit, there was probably the entirety of the last maybe half hour. Oh no! He's gone. There was probably about the whole last half hour was like, alright, well this is when Luke's going to come. Oh yeah, Luke's definitely going to come now. Han's dead. Oh no, this is what's going to happen. They're going to fight, and then he's going to come and kick. No. They're both down. Oh, the light! That's going to be... Okay, that's Chewie and the Falcon. That's not Luke. Like, what? And then they just sort of show up at the end and really just sort of look like he was standing there. It was like, oh, well, family, let's go get a beer. I'm Luke. It's like, oh, okay. Now I know why he wasn't in the trailer, because if they showed him in the trailer, that would have been his entire scene in the movie. So I'm looking forward to Luke come back in and sort of just like, dude, I'm Luke. And then just making everything awesome. Sort of it. Also, I'd like to think that the thing that blew up the wannabe Death Star planet wasn't the charges that were set so much and the X-Wings blowing stuff up. I think that helped, but what really blew up the Sunsucker wannabe Star Destroyer planet was Han. I mean, he fell into the thing. Because, of course, still no railings. Empire, this First Order, didn't learn anything from the Empire. There's still no railings everywhere. It's annoying. But he fell into the big shaft thing, like the Emperor, and I think that he wasn't actually dead. He went in there and went, I got you. And with his last sort of effort, made everything go kaplawi by being awesome. So ignore the hideous monster pug creature noises that are coming right now. They might sound a little gross. They're really just innocuous. You'd understand if you had a pug. So that's it. I've ranted on for going on 14 minutes now. And yeah, so go see it. Awesome movie. Really enjoyed it. Still, I mean, it's not perfect. Nothing's ever going to be. There's some little kind of, okay, we'll see. But I think it's fair to hold off judgment until the rest of this trilogy come out. So, that's it. I'm John. Please like, share, favorite, subscribe. That's the one I'm thinking of. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll talk at you later. Bye.